It was a regular day here in Magen, and at a certain point the hotline rang. We know it's the hotline because all the phones ring in the place and 3 cell phones go off. We know it's an important call. It was an American guy. He did not give his name. He said, "Do you know Mr. Smith?" That's a name. Is a child abuse perpetrator. He's a paedophile. He's dangerous. And he lives in our community.
So I grew up in Israel, in Telston, a small community right outside of Jerusalem. So I went to school there. I went to school in good high schools. And right in the middle of high school, or the first year of high school, someone who was a relative of mine, I used to stay at their house a lot, and he was Sofer Stam, and he used to do massages. And he would massage me, and then he would sexually abuse me. I lived with this for a long time, and I always was in that constant fight of is it my fault, is it not my fault, how can I stop this, who would listen to me, who would believe me about him.
That's why 95% of cases do not end up in court. Generally, children will not tell anybody, often their whole lives, that they were abused. When they do tell, they'll tell a trusted adult, often their parents, who may not pick up on quite what the child is telling them.
When I finished high school at the end of 16, I went to America and stayed there. I just didn't want to have to deal with it. I felt that when I was in Israel, it just kept happening again and again. No matter how much I wanted it to stop, it just wouldn't stop. It took me a long time, until I was 19, to ever tell anyone. I was in Atlanta with some family, and it was a very good environment where I felt comfortable to, well, not say, but I wrote down what happened. The response I got was shocking to me. I felt that I would be a little bit in doubt, at least from his family or even from my family. The embrace that I got was really strong from everyone. His wife divorced him right away. His kids stopped speaking to him, as far as I know. And it felt like I did something to move it forward. I still had that feeling that it has to stop with other people. I knew from what he told me that there were other victims in the past, and I was not very confident that he's not doing it again.
The U.S. Institute of Mental Health estimates that the average offender has 117 victims, an average of 117 victims. That's a lot of victims.
When I was 23, I got a call from a family member who was in Atlanta at the time when I was 19. And they told me about an organization called Magen. They said that they're in Beit Shemesh and they worry about the safety of other children in Beit Shemesh.
אנחנו ארגון שהוא ללא כוונת רווח, שכל כוונתו הוא לתועלת הציבור. זה ארגון שקם מלמטה, זה ארגון קהילתי שקם מתוך הקהילה כדי להגן על הקהילה.
We made direct contact with the victim, and he told us the story, which was very shocking.
David told me that it's going to be a long process. He said that I have to be in Israel for this. I couldn't send a letter, and that would be enough, sufficient.
He said he was going to come to Israel in order to bring a complaint to the police. So I was full of admiration for his courage. It's not easy to delve back into his past and to reveal it, not just to me, but also to the police and to the court.
I left originally not because I don't like Israel. This is beautiful. I look out the window and I see all the way to the other side of the country. It's amazing. And knowing that I'll have the opportunity to be in Israel and without this weight on my shoulders was good, and I wanted to give it a shot. When I came to Israel a few months later, when I was able to, I went to the police. David Morris was there with me. He supported me throughout, also in the complaint, difficult situations in the police that I had to stand with.
And they did what they call an imut, which is to say a confrontation between the victim and the alleged perpetrator.
But we didn't really argue. I accused and blamed, and he apologized and had nothing really good to say. My first thought would be it would be horrendous and hard, and how would I face this?
He was very distressed, and it was his right to be distressed, but he had us as his support, and I think that was very important.
Luckily for me, I had Magen, and they helped me out throughout the whole process. Between David going with me to the police station, to the courts, some help from the social worker as well. I don't think we would have gotten a conviction like that.
The process lasted about 2 years, from when we've got that first anonymous phone call until he was sentenced to 40 months in prison.
Magen works in 4 different areas. The first is education and awareness. The second is the hotline. The third is case management, support for victims and their families. And the fourth is Project 4.
Project 4 is a program that focuses on the perpetrator in our community, and the objective is to ensure public safety and the safety of the children in the community from known or alleged perpetrators.
Magen is the first that I know who is doing something in such a way that it is both legal and sensitive and halachic. I don't know of another project like Project 4 in any other agency that I've ever worked with, and I've worked with many.
הבנו שבשביל להגן על הילדים צריך להגן על כל הקהילה. בשביל להגן על הקהילה צריך להתייחס גם לאלה שפוגעים.
Magen works closely with the police, with the social services, with the leadership of the community, with Rabbanim, with the schools, with mental health professionals. We pull the whole thing together with the sole objective of increasing the safety of all of our children.
A lot of families have been helped. A lot of children who perpetrated have been helped. There are way less reports of sexual abuse in schools now because schools are more vigilant.
Child protection has become an international problem, and people hop, for example, from community to community, the perpetrators. And therefore we set up the first international congress of child protection organizations and Jewish communities from around the world. Instead of each community facing this problem on their own, we created a macro community, a organization of organizations.
There isn't enough awareness out there. People are afraid. People put pictures that are tinted with a low voice because of the shame to complain, the shame that I was abused. Is there a shame? If someone would punch me in the face, would I be shamed? No, I wouldn't be ashamed that I got punched in the face. It wasn't me, it was him. And that recognition would help other people do the same thing. Even if one other person would do this, it can save a lot of souls. Doing this together with Magen from the beginning was so helpful and so supportive that if there's anything I could do to help Magen help other people again in the future and not have to fall, anything that would move Magen forward, to me is work of God. I want to do that.